These are some of the times Stewie Griffin went full psycho. Kicking off our list, we dive straight into the holiday chaos episode, Road to the North Pole, where Stewie's Christmas spirit takes a dark and deranged turn. What better way to celebrate the season than a home invasion gone spectacularly wrong? It all starts on Christmas Eve when Brian, who's always stuck babysitting Stewie, takes him to the mall to see Santa. It turns out to be a bad move. The mall Santa, probably sick of dealing with kids all day, brushes them off rudely. Most kids would just cry, but Stewie? He swears he's going to kill Santa. This baby's ready to take out the King of Christmas. He bullies Brian into driving him to the North Pole to find Santa. Brian, thinking he's clever, tries to trick Stewie by taking him to a lame Santa's Village carnival with fake snow and bad decorations. But Stewie sees right through the deception and gets mad. He ditches Brian and hitches a ride with a trucker going to Canada, leaving Brian to chase after him in his car. Things go wrong fast when Stewie, who was messing around in the truck, accidentally shoots a flare gun. Boom! The truck catches fire, explodes, and causes a huge crash on the highway, wrecking Brian's car too. Brian's furious and yells at Stewie that Santa's not real, hoping to stop this insanity. But Stewie doesn't care. He's too stubborn and keeps on going, forcing Brian to tag along. A nice guy, probably too nice to say no to a scary baby, gives them a snowmobile to keep going north. They ride until they run out of gas and have to spend the night in a creepy old cabin that looks like it's from a horror movie. Stewie's not giving up though. This kid's got the drive of a maniac. The next morning, they walk through the snow, helped by a guy named Aurora Boreanas. Yeah, I know, it's a weird name, but hey. So they finally get to Santa's workshop, but it's not what they expected. It's a gross, smoky factory that looks like a dump. Santa's a sick, tired old man who can barely stand. The elves are messed up, looking weird from breathing toxic stuff and inbreeding because Santa's trying to keep up with kids wanting more and more gifts every year. And the reindeer? They're scary monsters that eat the elves who fall over in the snow from working too hard. It's a total mess. When Santa passes out, too weak to deliver presents, Stewie and Brian decide to do it themselves. Sounds right. Sounds nice, right? Wrong. This is where Stewie goes completely psycho.
What are you doing in my house?
We're Santa Claus.
Yeah, you're Santa Claus. That's why you broke in through the window. I'm calling the cops.
No, I can explain. We came down the chimney, but we forgot the presents. It's kind of a funny story. What the hell did you do?
Their first delivery is a total disaster. Stewie and Brian break into a house by smashing a window, thinking they can do anything simply because they're dropping off Christmas gifts. The homeowner hears them and comes to check, probably thinking it's a burglar. But silly Stewie doesn't talk it out. He instead grabs a baseball bat and knocks the guy out cold. The wife runs in worried and Stewie smacks her too, leaving her out cold. With both parents dead, he duct tapes the couple's little daughter to a chair. At this point, it's no longer just a bad delivery. It's a full-on attack. They beat up a random family for no reason. After wasting an hour and a half on this mess, Stewie and Brian realize they can't deliver gifts to every kid in one night. Santa's job is impossible. So they give up and move on to a new plan, leaving behind a wrecked house and a family who will never forget this Christmas. At number 9, we've got a twisted moment from the episode, Send in Stewie Please. We witness Stewie at his coldest as his therapy session turned into a deadly cover-up. At Quahog Preschool, Stewie gets sent to Dr. Pritchfield's office after pushing a kid named Tyler down the stairs. The doctor, a kind old guy, tries to get Stewie to open up. Stewie starts with some awkward chit-chat, bragging about his fancy British accent, but the therapist throws him off by saying he doesn't hear any accent, which annoys Stewie big time. That accent is his pride.
I've often been told that I have a British accent.
Oh?
That's all you're going to say? Oh?
What is it you'd like me to say, Stewie?
That I have a British accent.
I apologize, but I can't hear it.
You mean to tell me you don't hear me speaking with a British accent right now?
No.
When that therapist starts to think he's already getting a sense of Stewie after just a few minutes, Stewie flips things around, grabbing a photo of him on vacation with his husband, Michael. He starts picking apart their relationship, pointing out how Pritchfield feels embarrassed and insecure about being way older than his husband. The therapist gets defensive and hits back hard, saying Stewie's a lonely kid. That surprisingly stings and Stewie breaks down, crying his eyes out while grabbing tissues from Pritchfield's aide, Barbara. After Stewie pulls himself together, Pritchfield brings up the stair-pushing incident. Stewie admits he only shoved Tyler because he liked him and was scared Tyler wouldn't like him back. He insists he's not gay, claiming he's totally into girls, but opens up about not fitting in at school. Probably why he's so mean. None of the other kids care about his love for musicals or his plans to take over the world. He confesses that he pulls out his own hair when he's so anxious and throws a tantrum about not being a Broadway star. To show off, he sings a song from Hamilton, fighting hiccups and a runny nose the whole time. It's a rare moment where Stewie lets his guard down, showing he's more than just an evil genius. Pritchfield offers Stewie some tea and then starts talking about his own life. He says he grew up as an orphan in Britain during World War II, losing his parents in the Blitz and getting shuffled around until he landed in an orphanage. He's trying to show Stewie he knows what it's like to feel like an outcast and hide who you are. Stewie gets bored real quick and cuts off his long story. They go back to talking about Stewie's struggles with fitting in. Then comes the big reveal. Stewie admits his British accent is fake. He drops it, showing his real voice is American, just like everyone else's. He thinks about being his true self, but panics at the idea of being normal. So he switches back to his fake accent, sticking to his wild persona to stand out. Then comes the moment that shows how evil Stewie is. Pritchfield suddenly grabs his chest, having a heart attack. He begs Stewie to hand him his heart pills, but Stewie doesn't move. The therapist knows too much. He's the only one who's heard Stewie's real American accent and seen his vulnerable side. Stewie just watches, cold and calm, as Pritchfield struggles in pain. The therapist calls for Barbara, but Stewie says she's already at lunch. As Pritchfield's dying, he picks up the photo of him and his husband and recites lines from Romeo and Juliet, making it even sadder. To top it off, Pritchfield's husband calls during the heart attack, demanding a divorce, which makes the moment even worse. Stewie still doesn't even try to help. He just watches the therapist die, all to keep his secrets locked tight. For a few seconds, Stewie feels a tiny bit of guilt, but it doesn't change what he did. He walks away, leaving Pritchfield's body behind.
I don't understand. Why aren't you getting my medication?
I'd like to, really I would. And you were super helpful, and this kind of seems like a crummy way to repay you, but I'm not going to get it.
Is this because I made you wait?
It's because I can't have anyone know the real me. And so you must die.
Most kids would at least try to help, but Stewie picks his secrets over a man's life. It's creepy because it's so quiet yet bizarre. Just a baby staring at a dying man. That flicker of guilt makes it weirder, showing Stewie knows it's wrong but still doesn't care enough to act. Such a psycho baby. At number 8, we've got a crazy moment from Patriot Games. Stewie turns into a pint-sized mob boss, running a betting scheme and unleashing brutal beatings on Brian over a measly $50 debt. Stewie decides to become a sports bookie, acting like he's straight out of a gangster movie. He's taking bets left and right, and Brian, thinking it's no big deal, gets in on the action. He bets $50 on Mike Tyson to win a celebrity boxing match against Carol Channing. Tyson should win this easily, right? Well, not in Family Guy. It was a bad call. In the ring, Tyson keeps knocking Channing down, but she pops back up every time, like she's indestructible. Tyson finally passes out from exhaustion, and Channing wins. Stewie shows up to collect his $50, but Brian just laughs, thinking Stewie's some kid playing pretend. A big mistake. Stewie doesn't take it well. He gets dead serious, telling Brian he's got 24 hours to cough up the cash. Brian's not sweating it, probably thinking a baby can't do much. Another big mistake. A day later, Stewie comes back asking for the money. Brian brushes him off again, saying he'll pay by next Friday. That's it. Stewie snaps. He corners Brian in a bathroom and goes wild. He smashes a glass of orange juice over Brian's head, sending shards everywhere. Then he grabs a towel rack and beats Brian like a piñata. To top it all off, he slams Brian's head into the toilet, flushing away any doubt that he means business. Brian's left bruised and dazed, realizing Stewie's not kidding about this debt.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money? You got till 5 o'clock. You hear me? You got till 5 o'clock.
You freaking psychopath!
Clean yourself up.
But does he pay up? Nope. Brian's stubborn, thinking he can wait out a baby, but Stewie's not having it. Sometime later, Brian tries to dodge Stewie by slapping on a fake mustache. Like that's gonna fool anyone. Stewie spots him right away and doesn't hold back. He shoves Brian down the stairs, sending him tumbling. Then the beatdown gets even crazier. Stewie grabs a golf club and whacks Brian hard, leaving him limping. But he's not done. Stewie pulls out a pistol and shoots Brian in both knees, making him scream in pain. As if that's not enough, Stewie grabs a flamethrower and sets Brian on fire, turning him into a howling, charred mess. This isn't just about the $50 anymore. It's Stewie enjoying the torture. Brian's had enough. They limp to the bank and Brian hands over the cash, probably regretting ever betting against Carol Channing. Blame it on Tyson for letting a woman defeat him. In 8 Simple Rules for Buying My Teenage Daughter, Stewie falls hard for his hot new babysitter, LaDawn. But when he finds out she's got a boyfriend named Jeremy, he loses it. Trouble starts when Meg gets fed up with babysitting Stewie every time Lois and Peter go out. She throws an unnecessary tantrum, saying she's done watching the kid on Saturday nights. Lois agrees to hire a real babysitter, and Stewie overhears from the stairs, already nervous about meeting someone new. Lois starts interviewing candidates, and it's a parade of weirdos. Stewie's not impressed, and begins complaining about Lois's bad choices. But then, everything changes. A girl walks in late for the interview, and Stewie's jaw drops. It's LaDawn, a gorgeous young woman who leaves him speechless. He's instantly smitten, thinking she's the hottest thing ever. Pervert baby. That evening, LaDawn shows up to babysit and Stewie's ready to charm her. He's primping in the bathroom talking to his teddy bear Rupert about how he's going to win her over. He stuffs baby powder down in his diaper and joking about his package like he's some smooth talker with a big package.
Tonight the babysitter comes, Rupert. Lovely LaDawn. Oh, hey, LaDawn. Hey, what's going on? How you? Yeah. Oh, it's just me, Stewie. Just being myself. Yeah. Well, this here? Oh, it's just my package.
Down in the living room, they play a game, and when LaDawn knocks over the tower, she laughs and pinches Stewie's cheek, calling him cute. Stewie's eating it up, chuckling nervously and trying not to mess up. He's having a blast, thinking he's got a shot with her, but then the night takes a dark turn. LaDawn introduces Jeremy, her boyfriend, who strolls through the front door like he owns the place. Jeremy teases Stewie, calling him the little man trying to steal his girlfriend. Stewie's crushed and furious. He grabs Jeremy's cap and goes off ranting about how Jeremy's just some frat boy loser who loves The Simpsons and eats at Taco Bell. LaDawn, not fazed, says Stewie's cranky and tucks him into bed, popping a pacifier in his mouth. Stewie falls asleep, but his jealousy's just getting started.
So you're the guy who's been trying to steal my girlfriend.
What, you... Girlfriend? What kind of sick, twisted game are you playing at?
Stewie sounds a little cranky. I'll put him to bed.
Ha! I got your hat! Take that, hatless! Now go back to the quad and resume your hacky sack tourney!
Later, Stewie's obsession with LaDawn grows, and he can't stand Jeremy being in the way. He decides Jeremy's gotta go. Permanently.
All right, that's it. Jeremy must be destroyed. I say, I think this is how you change a tire, but what do I know? I'm just a baby! Here's your iPod so you can listen to the streaks while you gasp for air. Oh, the strokes, right.
He traces Jeremy to his house to ambush him. The guy walks in calling for his parents, but the lights won't turn on. It's creepy, and Stewie's lurking in the shadows. Jeremy passes a mirror, and in the reflection, Stewie's sitting in a chair, smoking like a villain in a movie. Jeremy turns around, but the chair's empty. Spooked, he calls out for Stewie. Not knowing what's coming, Stewie sneaks up, grabs a tire iron, and whacks Jeremy hard, knocking him out cold. Then he drags Jeremy to Brian's car and locks him in the trunk. This baby's not just jealous. He's gone full psycho, kidnapping a guy just for dating his crush. Stewie heads back to the Griffin house thinking he's cleared the path to LaDawn's heart, but his plan backfires. LaDawn isn't into him, and when he tries to flirt, she shuts him down. Stewie gets desperate and decides to sabotage her. He drugs LaDawn, probably slipping something in her drink, and tells Lois that LaDawn invited friends over and trashed the place. Lois is so pissed. She fires LaDawn on the spot. LaDawn, though upset, gives Stewie a mixtape as a goodbye gift and leaves in tears. Stewie feels a pang of regret and tries to chase after her, but she's gone, vanished into the night. Weeks pass and Stewie's moping around, realizing he screwed up big time. Then it hits him. He forgot about Jeremy, still locked in Brian's trunk. 2 weeks in a car trunk. Yeah, that's not good. We don't see Jeremy again in this episode, but that later coma guy moment where Peter sees him with dead characters hints Jeremy didn't make it out alive. Or Jeremy. This next episode starts with Lois excitedly planning Stewie's first birthday party because it's a big deal. The one amongst her 3 kids that might actually be useful. Stewie, though, isn't feeling the celebration. He overhears Lois talking about the party and gets a twisted idea in his head. He thinks his birthday means the mysterious man in white who delivered him as a baby is coming back to stuff him back into Lois's womb.
The man in white. Of course. He must be the hired professional of whom they spoke. He failed to thwart my escape into the outside world, and now, 1 year hence, he's returning to rectify his mistake and put me back in the womb.
To Stewie, it's like his whole life's been a scam, and he's not going back to what he calls womb jail. He decides he's got to get out of Quahog before this creepy guy shows up. Stewie goes into full panic mode, plotting to run away. He grabs some baby gear and sneaks out of the house, determined to escape his so-called fate. He makes it all the way to Quahog Airport, which is pretty impressive for a 1-year-old. While waddling through the terminal, trying to figure out how to buy a ticket with no money and a diaper, his plan hits a snag when an airport worker spots him. They report him as a lost child, and that's when Henry, a kind-hearted security guard, steps in. Henry's just doing his job, looking out for a kid who's clearly out of place. He talks to Stewie gently and tries to calm him down. Henry tells him running away from problems never solves anything, giving him some solid grandpa-style advice. Most kids would listen or at least chill out, but Stewie's not most kids. He's a paranoid genius with a twisted mind, and Henry's words make him think twice about running. Stewie decides he's got to face this man in white instead of hiding, but before he leaves, he does something totally unimaginable. Stewie looks at Henry, wishes him luck in a creepy, fake, nice way, and pulls out his weird device. And the next thing you know, he freezes Henry in carbonite. He repaid kindness with evil. Such a psycho. The poor guy's stuck in a solid block with a shocked look on his face, all for trying to help a lost baby. Stewie, though, doesn't stick around to admire his work. He's got bigger fish to fry. He heads back to the house, ready to take on the man in white and end this birthday nonsense once and for all.
You know, son, running away never solves anything. You're getting to be a big boy now, and part of growing up means facing your problems head on. You're saying I must return to face this man in white myself. So be it. As for you, kind sage, I only hope my heartfelt thanks will keep you warm as you spend the next 10 years in frozen carbonite.
Back at home, Stewie's still on edge, waiting for this man in white to show up. The birthday party is in full swing, with Lois trying to make everything perfect. Stewie's not into the cake and balloons. He's got his eyes on his enemy. Later, a guy in a white robe shows up, chasing someone into the backyard. Stewie's sure this is the man in white coming to get him. Turns out it's just some cult leader from another mess the Griffins got tangled in, but Stewie doesn't know that. He corners the guy in the house, pulls out a laser rifle from who knows where, and zaps him into dust.
Greetings, man in white. I've been expecting you.
Who said that? Where are you? What do you want?
Freedom! What do you want?
I want to get the hell out of here!
Oh, I'm sorry, we're fresh out of that. I'm afraid all we have left is untimely death. What the hell is this? It's a boy.
Stewie is thrilled, thinking he's won, and he walks out to join the party like nothing happened. He's all smug, eating birthday cake, while the family has no clue he just vaporized someone and froze a security guard earlier. This birthday meltdown lands at number 6 on our list, and we've got 5 more times this baby went totally psycho. Stick around. At number 5, we've got a reckless stunt from Stewie Goes for a Drive. It all begins when Brian picks up Stewie from a playdate. On the drive home, Stewie's jamming out to Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats on the radio, like he's a country star. When they pull into the driveway, Stewie begs to stay in the car to finish the song. Brian, probably wanting a break from the kid, says fine and heads inside. Stewie's alone, bouncing to the music, when he accidentally bumps the gear shift, knocking the car from park to drive. The car lurches forward, freaking him out, but he quickly jams it back into park, stopping it. Instead of being scared, Stewie's eyes light up. He thinks he's a pro driver now. That little scare plants a terrible idea in his head. He goes to take Brian's car for a spin. Later, Stewie sneaks Brian's keys, probably swiping them from the kitchen counter, and hops into the car. Here's a 1-year-old, barely tall enough to see over the wheel, but he's pumped. He starts the engine and peels out, cruising through Quahog like he's in a video game. The radio's blasting, and Stewie's having the time of his life, weaving through the streets and feeling like a king. Things get dicey when he hears a radio contest for Justin Bieber tickets. Stewie, thinking he's gotta win, grabs his cell phone to call the station. He's so excited he hands the phone to his teddy bear Rupert, like that's going to help. While he's messing around, he takes his eyes off the road. The car swerves and bam! He slams head-on into a lamppost. The front end's smashed to bits, headlights gone, hood crumpled. Stewie's fine, just shaken, but the car's toast. Instead of owning up, he limps the wrecked car back home, parks it, and acts like nothing happened, leaving Rupert in the front seat. Brian's not blind. He spots the totaled car and Rupert in it, and he's mad. He storms up to Stewie, yelling about how he didn't just wreck the car, he could have gotten himself killed. Brian's not letting this slide, saying he's going to tell Peter and Lois, so Stewie learns his lesson. Stewie panics.
I can't believe you drove my car. You could have gotten yourself killed. I'm gonna have to tell Peter and Lois.
No, you can't tell them. I'll be in so much trouble.
Stewie, I have to. All right, I have covered for you plenty of times before, but not this time. This is very dangerous, and I have to make sure you never do it again.
I won't, I swear.
He's not about to face punishment, so he bolts, leaving a message for Brian with some dramatic note about his dumb runaway plans. He hops on a bus, thinking he'll hit the airport and skip town, but ends up in a rough part of Quahog. That's where Consuela, the Griffin's old maid, finds him wandering. She takes him to her house, treating him like her own kid, even giving him a bath with soup ingredients for her daughter's quinceanera. Stewie's not thrilled, but he's stuck. Brian then tracks him down and gives him a bit of hope. He admits he shouldn't have left Stewie alone in the car and says he won't snitch if Stewie promises never to drive again. Corruption. Consuela, however, is not letting Stewie go, calling him her son, Ernesto. When Brian tries to take him, one of Consuela's relatives pulls a gun, threatening to shoot. Stewie, quick as ever, grabs the gun and shoots Consuela in the foot. He doesn't stop there. He fires shots in the air, unloading the clip like a maniac.
And if you promise never to do it again, I won't say anything.
Okay, I promise.
My baby.
What? I say, let go of me.
Consuela, we're leaving.
My baby.
Hey, she says it's her baby, man. Now get out of here.
He's my baby. Ernesto.
No, I'm not in nest. Okay, this is so messed up right now.
The chaos gives them a chance to run, and they bolt out of the house. Stewie says he didn't want to hurt Consuela, claiming her family was nice until Brian showed up. But let's be real, he's not exactly sorry. They head home with Stewie acting like his psycho joyride and gunfight were just another day. Brian's car is still damaged, and Stewie's learned nothing. In the episode Hannah Banana, Stewie, a huge Hannah Montana fan, hears that Miley Cyrus is playing a concert in Quahog. He's pumped, acting like he is obsessed, but unfortunately the tickets sell out fast. Stewie's crushed and begs Brian for help getting tickets, but Brian just laughs at Stewie for liking a cheesy Disney star. Stewie's, however, not amused. Instead of giving up his kid crush, it spirals into something sinister. He decides Brian's going to help, whether he likes it or not. Stewie's not asking nicely. He's got a psycho plan to make Brian obey, and it's about to get ugly. He tracks down all 8 of Brian's siblings from their old litter, which is creepy enough for a 1-year-old. He rounds them up and sets up a horror show with his torture devices ready. It's like a medieval dungeon in Quahog. Stewie then shows Brian what's at stake, putting explosive collars on each sibling. To prove he's serious, he picks one dog, Jerry, and triggers the collar. Boom! Jerry's head explodes in a gory mess, leaving Brian horrified and the other dogs whimpering.
It's your brother. I found him for you, buddy. What? Jerry? That's amazing. Can he hear me? Hi, Jerry. What's that big thing around his neck?
Oh, I'll show you.
Ah! Oh my God! Oh my God! What did you do?
I killed him, Brian, and he's the lucky one. He went quickly. There were 9 dogs in that litter.
Stewie threatens to kill the rest if Brian doesn't get him to the concert. Brian, seeing his family in danger, caves fast. He agrees to sneak Stewie into the show, but he's pissed, pointing out it's nuts that Stewie could find his siblings, but not a single ticket. They head to the concert and sneak backstage, dodging security like a couple of spies. They're almost caught, but Miley Cyrus herself spots them. Brian, quick on his feet, lies and says Stewie got a tumor that makes his head look like a football. Miley buys it, feeling sorry for Stewie, and lets them hang out with her. Stewie's over the moon, acting like he's best buds with his idol. But while handing Miley her phone, he notices weird signal interference, like static or something off. His genius brain kicks in and he gets suspicious. He drags Brian to spy on Miley, and they uncover a wild secret. She's not human. Miley's an android clone built by Walt Disney Imagineering to be the perfect teen star who never messes up. It's creepy, but Stewie's curious, and Brian's got other ideas, asking if the robot can, get romantic. Stewie decides to reprogram Miley, thinking he can make her his perfect friend. The reprogramming goes south fast. Stewie messes with Miley's circuits, and instead of being cooler, she starts glitching hard. Her eyes glow, her voice warps, and she goes haywire, chasing Stewie and Brian through the concert venue. They bolt, with Miley turning into a rampaging robot, tossing cars and smashing buildings in Quahog's streets. Stewie and Brian are running for their lives, dodging debris as Miley goes full Terminator. The chase ends when Miley climbs a skyscraper, still malfunctioning. Stewie's not fighting her all by himself this time. Others step in, and Miley's taken down in a hail of gunfire, exploding into bits. Stewie and Brian stand by her wrecked android body, and Stewie, being Stewie, jokes that Brian could still maybe have sex with her parts. A robotic arm falls from the sky, and Brian actually thinks about it, proving they're both the little nuts. Well, Stewie might be the bigger psycho of the two.
You know, Brian, here's your shot. Go for it. Oh, too late.
No, it's not.
In the episode, the story on page 1, Stewie's having a rough time because he's so small. He's fed up with being ignored and shut out just for being a baby. He tries sneaking into a chemistry lab to mess with some chemicals, probably dreaming up some evil potion. But the lab guy stops him, saying it's for big people only. Stewie's fuming, muttering about his small structure holding him back. Later, he tries auctioning off a death ray. Classic Stewie, but nobody takes him seriously because he's a pint-sized kid. He screams his head off, but the crowd just walks by. Even at home, he can't reach snacks on the kitchen counter, and Chris has to grab them for him. Stewie's sick of it, whining about how his height is ruining everything. That's when he gets a sick idea. If he can't be big, he'll use someone who is. He locks himself in his room and builds a mind control device that looks like a clunky security headset. He figures Chris, with his empty brain and tall, chunky frame, is the perfect tool to do his dirty work. Stewie's not thinking small here. He wants to use Chris to pull off his craziest plan yet, killing Lois. Why? Who knows? Maybe she grounded him or made him eat broccoli. Stewie waits until Chris is passed out asleep, snoring like a lawnmower. He sneaks in, slaps the device on Chris's head, and flips it on. The gadget hums to life, and Stewie's grinning like a maniac, ready to test his new toy. He mutters something about taking the old boy for a spin, and just like that, Chris is his zombie slave, ready to follow any order, no matter how messed up.
Well, let's take the old boy out for a spin. Eyes open. Voice test. I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
Eviscerate the proletariat.
Eviscerate the proletariat.
With Chris under his control, Stewie starts small, making him do dumb stuff like fetch snacks or dance like an idiot. But Stewie's got bigger plans. He hands Chris an axe. Yep, an actual axe, and he orders him to go after Lois. If he succeeds, Chris will take the fall and Stewie's hands will stay clean. It's a real psycho move, stripping away Chris's free will and setting him up to live with the guilt of murdering their mom. Stewie doesn't care about the fallout, though. He just wants Lois gone. But right as things get intense, Meg walks in, distracting Chris before he can swing at the axe. Stewie's pissed, but he's not giving up yet. Stewie keeps pushing Chris to finish the job, but then disaster strikes. For Stewie, anyway. Chris gets too close to the microwave, and the microwave's hum messes with the mind control device, and zap, it short circuits. Sparks fly, the headset fries, and Chris snaps out of it, confused and probably wondering why he's holding an axe. Stewie's plan falls apart, and he's left screaming about his bad luck. Lois is safe, Chris is free, and Stewie's back to square one, plotting his next crazy scheme. At number 2, we've got a bloodthirsty rampage from the second half of the 2-part episode, Lois Kills Stewie. The episode kicks off with Stewie on the run after trying to kill Lois in the first part. He's escaped from a courthouse where Lois is telling the court about his murder attempt, and the cops, led by Joe, are hunting him down. Stewie's not sweating it, though. He's got a plan. He sneaks back to the house and waits for the family to show up. When Peter, Lois, Meg, and Chris walk in, Stewie's ready, pointing a pistol at them like a tiny gangster. He's done hiding his evil side and ties them to chairs in the living room, barking orders and waving the gun with all kinds of creepy instructions. Just then, Cleveland strolls through the front door all chill, saying he's just checking in. Stewie doesn't hesitate. He spins around and shoots Cleveland square in the chest. Cleveland drops dead while the Griffins freak out. Stewie's cold as ice, not caring that he just killed a friend over nothing.
Hey, Griffins, just checking in.
Holy crap! Stewie, you killed him. He's dead.
Oh my god! Oh my god, what are we gonna do? Oh, poor Cleveland!
It's all right, Lois. He's in heaven now.
Knowing the cops won't ignore Cleveland's death, Stewie decides to skip town. He keeps the family tied up, but grabs Brian, shoving the gun in his face and forcing him to drive to the CIA headquarters in Langley Falls, Virginia. Stewie's got big plans, and Brian's his reluctant wheelman. At the CIA, Stewie and Brian pose as agents, probably flashing fake badges to get inside. Stewie heads for the agency's supercomputer and hacks into the global power grid, taking control of the world's electricity. He runs into Stan Smith and Avery Bullock from American Dad, mistaking Stan for Joe because of their chins, but even they can't stop him. He threatens to plunge the planet into darkness, and the CIA caves. They hand him the keys to the world, and just like that, Stewie declares himself president of the world, grinning like a maniac.
I now control the entire planet's power grid, and unless you want me to send you all back to the Dark Ages, you'll do exactly as I say.
What are your demands?
Now in charge, Stewie goes full dictator, broadcasting his crazy laws from the White House. He bans direct-to-video Disney movies, makes everyone throw apples at Peter, outlaws sex with a death penalty. Quagmire hated this one. Demands all milk come from Hilary Swank's breasts, and sets up concentration camps for dumb crimes. The kid must really be crazy. He even sings a twisted version of a song from The Mikado, listing who he wants to punish, It's madness, and the world's a mess under his tiny iron fist. Meanwhile, Chris, who wasn't tied up, helps the Griffins escape. Lois, fed up with her son's tyranny, grabs weapons from Stewie's own armory and storms the Oval Office for a showdown. The two go at it, blasting the place to bits. Lois pins Stewie down, ready to kill him, but she can't bring herself to shoot her kid. Stewie, heartless as ever, grabs a gun to finish her off, but Peter pops up and shoots Stewie dead. Then comes the twist. Brian walks into Stewie's room with Crew's postcards from Peter and Lois, only to find Stewie stepping out of a computer simulation device. The whole thing, Cleveland's death, the CIA takeover, the world domination, the shootout, was all a virtual test run. Stewie built the machine to see what would happen if he killed Lois and ruled the world. He decides he's just not ready for that yet, shrugging it off like it's no big deal. Brian's skeptical, wondering if it's just a cheap dream sequence, and Stewie defends it, saying the audience probably loved the chaos. He jokes that at least it didn't end like The Sopranos. Cleveland's alive, Lois is fine, but Stewie's simulation shows he's got murder in his heart. Psycho, evil, baby. At number 1, we've got drama from the crossover episode, The Simpsons Guy. The Griffins end up in Springfield after fleeing Quahog when Peter's sexist comic strip pisses off the town. Their car gets stolen at a gas station, stranding them, and the Simpsons take them in. Stewie meets Bart, and they hit it off. Two troublemakers ready to raise hell. Bart shows Stewie his weapons closet, which is just a slingshot and some prank gear, and teaches him to skateboard. Stewie's pumped, thinking he's found a partner in crime. They try a classic Bart prank calling Moe at the tavern, but Stewie's attempt flops. Things take a dark turn when Stewie sees Nelson, Springfield's resident bully, pound Bart for a bad grade after copying his homework. Bart shrugs it off, used to Nelson's beatdowns, but Stewie's not having it. He begins plotting revenge, and it's going to be ugly. Stewie doesn't mess around with slingshots or prank calls like Bart. Instead, he sets a trap for Nelson. When Nelson walks by, Stewie fires a knockout dart, dropping him like a sack of potatoes. Nelson wakes up tied up in some creepy hideout Stewie set up. The toddler is in full evil mode, tormenting Nelson by forcing him to eat his own shorts. Yep, those ones he's always wearing. It's gross and cruel, but Stewie's just getting started. He doesn't stop at Nelson. He goes after all of Bart's enemies, like Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney, Springfield's bully gang. Stewie kidnaps them one by one using darts or traps to snag them and subjects them to twisted torture. Stewie's got a sick imagination, and each bully gets a custom punishment, all because they messed with his new pal, Bart.
You know, Nelson, I don't doubt that you had a twisted childhood. Most evil people have. Hitler, Manson, Jaden Smith. But you're different from them, aren't you? Because they're rail thin and you're fat. You're a little piggy, aren't you, Nelson? In fact, I bet you're hungry right now. What's that?
I could eat.
Good, because you're going to eat my shorts.
He's not doing this for fun. It's his messed up way of proving he's a loyal friend. But it's way over the line, even for a kid like Bart, who's no stranger to trouble. Stewie's traps are brutal, designed to humiliate and scare, not just teach a lesson. The bullies are left battered and terrified, and Stewie's not even hiding it. He's proud of his work. By the time the Griffins are ready to leave Springfield, Stewie's got a body count of tortured enemies, and he's ready to spill the beans to Bart. When it's time to say goodbye, Stewie pulls Bart aside and brags about taking out his enemies, thinking Bart will be impressed. Instead, Bart's horrified. He's used to pranks like whoopee cushions or spray paint stunts, not kidnapping and torture. Stewie's cold, calculated, cruelty is too much, and Bart calls it quits, telling Stewie their friendship's over because he's a total creep. Stewie acts like he's cool with it, shrugging it off, but back in Quahog, he's sulking in his room, writing, "I will not think about Bart anymore," like a lovesick psycho. Even after the rejection, he's still obsessed, proving his twisted mind's already scheming.
Hey, I hope you don't mind. I got you a little present.
Oh, is that Nelson? Stewie, what the deuce? I don't think we can be friends. You freak me out.
But if we don't keep in touch, I'll kill myself.
That's what I'm talking about. Later, dude.
Later, dude.
And that's a wrap on some of the times Stewie went haywire. We are sure you had a fun time. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for sticking around.